Hello and welcome to The Forge. I'm the Artsmith and today I'm back to give you guys some more Pokemon content. If you haven't seen my other videos for this region, I recommend checking them out. To catch up to speed, I'm making a Fakemon region based on the West Coast USA, where prehistoric Pokemon can be fully restored. And today, I'm delivering on that concept. Some of you have been asking me to design some regional variants for my Fakemon region, and I figured this would be a great way to start. You see, every single fossil Pokemon is a rock type, on account of them being restored from fossils. And it's often stated in their Pokedex entries that they are an approximation of what their prehistoric brethren looked like. I've always hypothesized about what the true forms of some of my favorite Pokemon were. What was their second typing? Was Tyrantrum covered in feathers? Let's find out! This put me in an interesting situation when it came to making regional variants based on fossil Pokemon. Because I'm interpreting their true forms, my goal was to take the initial concept behind the Pokemon and push it even further. So instead of doing something like Alolan Vulpix, which switches up its typing from fire to ice, I'm more so amplifying what I already see in the original design. In today's video, I'll be pushing the designs of a sauropod based on the Aurora Borealis, and a theropod based on a king. They're my all-time favorite fossil duo, so how could I not do them first? Now, I want to emphasize that I don't intend to say that my designs are the conclusive true forms of these fossil Pokemon. As with any Fakemon, it's up to the artist's interpretation and preferences. Also, Game Freak is probably going to do this in an upcoming DLC for Scarlet and Violet anyways. Let's see if I unintentionally predict another official Pokemon. Let's get into it. I started this design process by simply tracing Amaura's original design so I could gain an understanding of its shapes. I also wanted to be sure to emulate other regional variant designs. Pretty much all of them put the Pokemon in the same pose as their original form. That way it really sells that this is just a different look, and not an entirely new Pokemon. I knew going into this that I wanted to push the cosmic aspect of Amaura's original design, which meant that this was going to become a psychic type. Typically, if a Pokemon looks like it has anything to do with space, it's a psychic type. And I mean, Amaura also has access to psychic type moves in the game, so it just fits. I turned its diamond-shaped gem into a star, and made its sails look like a starry galaxy. Thicken up the body a bit and give it a fresh new color palette, and we have an adorable variant of Amaura. Amaura, Tavarian form, the night sky Pokemon. Using new state-of-the-art technology, scientists were able to fully restore this ancient Pokemon to its original form from millions of years ago. Amaura in the Tava region are nocturnal and live in cold environments. It has a strong connection with the cosmos, leading some researchers to believe that it is wiser than it lets on. Self-proclaimed psychics seek to tame this Pokemon to give more accurate fortunes. I was really looking forward to redesigning Aurorus. For those of you that don't know, it ranks as number 3 out of my all-time favorite Pokemon. I have a special affinity for this sauropod, and have had this beauty on my team whenever I get the chance. I find it so cool that it's based on an Amargasaurus, but if its sails weren't as rigid. I knew I wanted to expand the sails to taking up the entire back rather than just the neck. It felt fitting for the true form of this Pokemon. It goes from a representation of the Aurora Borealis to the night sky itself. Because of the cosmic theme I was working with, I also tried to give it subtle magical girl qualities, though they may be subtle. And of course, I made their shiny forms the same color as their original design. Aurorus, Tavarian form, the cosmic Pokemon. Using new state-of-the-art technology, this ancient Pokemon was restored to its true form. Tavarian Aurorus are serene creatures that are bound to the cosmos. Its power exponentially grows after nightfall, where it uses its star-shaped crystals to blast enemies with cold frost equivalent to the vacuum of space. Its 2 giant sails act as a bridge to the starry night sky, and may be used to stun and hypnotize enemies with their vibrant colors. Some communities make a tradition out of camping out under a Tavarian Aurorus' sails, and admiring an aurora away from the North Pole. I think Tyrunt took me the least amount of time to redesign. I designed Tyrantrum first, which helped in figuring out the elements I wanted to highlight here. This form has more of a crown and is covered in feathers. There's a dex entry for this line of Pokemon speculating that they may have been covered in feathers, so I wanted to pay that off here. I wanted this version of Tyrunt to look even more like a brat. In its heyday, it was a spoiled little prince that acted even nastier than its modern-day counterpart. I gave it a weapon on its tail to allude to its more vicious attitude. I decided on making its second typing dark. Considering that it's based on royalty and the tantrums a spoiled heir can throw, it just made sense. Tyrunt, Tavarian form, the spoiled heir Pokémon. Using new state-of-the-art technology, scientists were able to fully restore this ancient Pokémon to its original form from millions of years ago. Tyrunt, found in the Tava region, seek to be pampered and throw violent tantrums when they don't get what they want. It has a sense of entitlement that most trainers find abhorrent, but deep down lies an insecure Pokémon that can someday become a great ruler if given the proper guidance. Tyrantrum is based on the Tyrannosaurus rex, the king of the dinosaurs. It's also designed to look like an old king with a white beard and robe. Its Pokedex entries emphasize that it became kingly because it was the most powerful Pokemon in its habitat. But what happens when all that power goes to your head? I wanted to turn Tyrantrum into a mad king. I made the crown wrap around its head more, covered its body in feathers, and gave it a deadly weapon on its tail to enforce its cruel authority. Its beard is long and unkempt, and its robe is in tatters. Coloring this beast proved to be quite the challenge, but once I referenced the original color placement, the whole design clicked. I played around with the colors again after the recording, so be prepared to see a different final product than the crimson red. In the end, I decided on a cold blue to reference its original shiny form, as well as its cold and cruel nature. I still kept Tyrunt's plumage red to lean into the idea that as a young royal, it has potential to be a good king, before its downfall into the cold blue despot. In the end, I'm really happy with this Tyrunt. Tyrantrum, Tavarian form, the Mad King Pokémon. Using new state-of-the-art technology, this ancient Pokémon was restored to its true form. Its body is completely covered in feathers, hinting that it may have needed them for warmth in ancient times. Tavarian Tyrantrum used their powerful jaws and frame to assert dominance over their territory, claiming to be its king. It rules with an iron fist and wars with neighboring Tyrantrum to expand the borders of its kingdom. So that was my take on the true forms of some fossil Pokémon. We have a cosmic fortune teller and a mad king. I actually had a lot more fun than I thought I would designing these 4 regional variants. I can very easily see making more of these. I think I owe it to myself to redeem Bastiodon someday. What do you think? Would you add Tavarian Amaura or Tyrunt to your team? I'm trying to make these videos more consistent, so please be sure to like and subscribe and all those things so I can continue to make more of these. I'll be sure to post a poll so you guys can vote on what you want to see next. Anyway, recommend any dinosaurs or other extinct creatures you would like to see. And if you want, throw in some type combos you think would be cool too. Make sure to go watch my other Fakemon videos if you haven't yet, and check out clips from my original animated series The Last Fire Sprite on my channel. This has been the Artsmith, and thank you for coming to the Forge. Boopy boopity doopity boop.